Right, so it's the day after United Arsenal and I'm not depressed. That's a nice feeling to have, and yes, we lost and we shouldn't have lost. We should have gone on to win the game or at least get a draw, and a Bayern Deer flappy hand moment. Was it a foul? Was it? It doesn't really matter. Either way, the keeper position needs fixing ASAP. But I digress. Let's talk about the positives, because there was a lot of positives to take. We could talk negatives all day long. Positives are De Ligt, to be honest, the whole back line, really stunning, but De Ligt in particular was absolutely manhandling Gyökeres. He was an animal. I'm baffled to find he's only 26. I don't know why he feels like a 36-year-old veteran. It's because he's been around since he's 18, I guess, but he was a positive sign. We need that in the middle of the back line. That was solid. Yoro showing he's still raw, continuing to grow, developing. And I think there's a lot of good signs still coming from him as well overall. His ability to carry the ball forwards and comfort to be on the ball is huge for us. Casemiro and Bruno in the middle didn't really steal the show, but they didn't really crumble. Bruno very sloppy at the start of the game a couple of times. Obviously gives away, leads to giving away the corner, which wasn't ideal. Dorgu shining light. Dalot just kind of there. Didn't do much wrong. Didn't do a lot to affect the game. Diallo was very bright and lively when he first came. I did feel like he did kind of get in the same positions as Mbeumo a lot. That was a bit strange, but I think they'll work that out. They'll get there, and I think he'll start more. Diallo will going forward in games where we're going to go out there and attack a bit more, but we had to show respect to Arsenal. Same reason I think Agate comes on instead of Mainu. It's that defensive side. You wanted to add energy, but at the same time you didn't want to just give it all up and open up the middle. But I still think Manu should have been the one to come on. But again, I'm going slightly negative and slightly not. But overall, the front three, Mount was great. One of his best performances he's had for United. He's picked up since the end of last season, and he seems to be picking up where he left off. He adds now as a great option to have for some games to start, some not. I potentially would try him some games where we don't have Bruno. I know Bruno's there a lot, but having Bruno in there, having players maybe an 8 sometimes, let him have his energy and get on the ball and play, because that 8 is very advanced. They join the 10s a lot. I'm going to get to the main guy in a second, obviously. Sesko's performance when he comes on, he just didn't really get involved. I think long term, I can see it all working. When you can picture it, that's a nice place to be, because I'm going to talk about the main two. Mbeumo started the game, his first touch, stunning from the start, tight, it's just neat. It's just neat. Everything about it was just nice. And then obviously Cunha, in particular the second half, but he was showing signs in the first half. He is just going to be a problem for anyone to deal with, and he opens the pitch up because he brings people in, and then he gets around the corner, and now he's running at people, and we've got players like Mbeumo running off. Sesko will then get involved in that. I think it adds a whole different dynamic to us. Diallo will be there, Bruno will have them runs in as well. I think the balance of United looks a lot better, and the main thing is everyone as a team looks more, to use the term, united. Everyone's on the same page and everyone's heading this direction. That was off camera, off screen, there we go. Everyone is going the right way and we're doing it together. So all in all, I actually think there's so many more positives to take from it. Let's be honest, we were the better team. I think Cunha's moments of magic where he's spinning people and he's driving in and he's carrying the ball and he's doing all these things, it's just huge. And then Mbeumo, he looked like the one who was likely to score. He looked very close to having a goal, having a magic little moment for him. Obviously he goes for the slight overhead kick style, and there's just a need. There was a desperation to kind of potentially score a goal. We still got to find a few little pieces, but I think once we've had a game where we've kind of opened the team up a bit, I think that will build the conversation, that will build the confidence. Because I think you've seen with Chelsea last year, a lot of what they did was built off confidence. They started scoring a lot of goals, and you score a couple, the next game feels a bit easier, a tiny bit to score a goal. You go without scoring a few games, it's harder to kind of get that goal. And I think we got stuck in that lull last season. But I think we've got players. Diallo will add some goals. Bruno will always get you goals. He'll always get you them moments, and he'll score some as well. And I think overall, you can really look at it and go, Cunha's going to add goals. Mbeumo, Diallo, Sesko should get you some. Xerxes going to get you some. And I hope he's more aggressive when he does come into the situation. I just don't think we were completely ready for the first game of the season. But I feel like we've just given ourselves a nice little starter point. I think I look at it and go, Arsenal weren't great. They weren't awful. But I think Arsenal got through the game being not necessarily the worst team, but the worst team of the two. And Arsenal were kind of dominated in many ways, 22 shots to 9, we had more possession, we looked the more aggressive team in open play, and I think when you look at it, Arsenal got through that winning. That's what champions are going to do. That's the championship mentality they need. They need to now step that level up. But this is a United channel, this is United based mainly, and we're going to talk about what we need. And I think we needed a performance to build off more than we needed just a result. Listen, you can build off a result, of course, but we've seen this with Ten Hag. Ten Hag gave us results, but he gave up everything he wanted to do performance-wise, and we were never ever able to step it up another level. Results will kind of get you so far, just going for results over and over again. Performance and finding a level, that's going to take you a long way. The Arsenal kind of mould, that's what they did as well. They found their performance, became solid, and then they started adding to it. We need to do that. But overall, we've lost, and I don't want to jump off a bridge. I think that's a win in that sense. It's a pretty, listen, start of the season, if I told you we're going to dominate Arsenal, but we're just going to lose, you wouldn't have liked it, but you'd have accepted it in a way because we didn't get absolutely battered. And the main thing, and the last point I'll say, when we conceded, we didn't switch off. We didn't accept defeat. We kept going and we almost found another level. I think that's huge. And against a team that's probably going to be in potentially champions, or at least in the conversation, that is what we need. That is a building block. Now, we do not need to let off. We need to keep pushing. Will we do that? I don't know. But beat Fulham, beat Burnley with 6 points out of 9, and we can head into the next games with slightly bigger games. I think it's City. We can head in there with a bit more aggression because they look stunning as well. So, we're going to live. We're United. Feels good. We're not going to get beaten up over it. I'm not going to talk about the penalty and the potential foul again. I'm just not getting into that. It could have been, could not have been, any other day. Don't know. But yeah, overall, that's it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do the usual. Let me know your opinions and see you in the next one.